I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shooting Show. We certainly want to welcome you to our program today. You'll recognize my lovely wife, Heather. Friends, we are indeed proud to be here because, you know, as long as you're seeing us on television, we're getting our message out. As we talked about, we've had a lot of calls this week about the Denver city ordinances where literally the police can seize your car, can seize your home if you have an unpermitted firearm, or possibly you don't have some kind of permit. You're stopped on a traffic stop, the policeman asks to search your car. You may have even an unloaded gun somewhere in your car, and guess what? The city of Denver can take your gun, they can take your automobile. If they find it in your home, they can take your home. This is insane. This is why we're here today. Friends, we've got to educate more people. This is the only chance we have. Today, as we speak, as I've been saying for a long time, we're losing our battle to retain our gun rights. We're not winning, we're losing. And right now, there's a cat fight going on inside the NRA, and I tell you what, I wish those NRA folks would pay attention in Washington. If you don't think Sarah Brady and Chucky Schumer and some of the most vehement anti-gun people, if you don't think they're laughing at the NRA for their internal squabbles. Remember, friends, that saying out of the Bible, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So I hope that the bureaucrats at the NRA for a change will become a little less selfish, would become more concerned about what's happening. This is one reason we've been so much in support of Gun Owners of America. They don't have the bureaucracy. Even the Second Amendment Foundation doesn't have the bureaucracy that the NRA does. The NRA still does a lot of useful and worthwhile things. They're still an important organization. But they're only about 2.5 million strong. And we as gun owners have got to become better organized. We have to. We have to. Because we're letting a handful of legislators and nuts. This ceasefire thing is an anti-gun organization. Let me tell you what, in 12 major cities, and they're subsidized by our tax dollars, it's called ceasefire, they're going to run over 375 million, bunch of zeros, 375 million anti-gun so-called public service announcements, so-called. Now, friends, that is dirty pool. See, it's not a fair fight. The anti-gun people control major media. That's why it's important we stay on the air and expand our pro-gun programming, because we're losing the battle on television every day. You know why kids are hurt in gun handling? It's not because of what their parents taught them. It's what they saw on television. It's what they saw in the movies. They see it, monkey see, monkey do. It's the ludicrous gun handling that we see on television in the major media. That's why the majority of children are hurt. That's why we see ignorant things like twirling of handguns. They see it in the movies. That's why we see the ridiculous gun handling. They'll drop a magazine out of a semi-automatic, think it's unloaded.
What about the Middle Eastern types that we've seen on TV shooting in the air?
Good point. All of us have seen the clips of the Mid-Eastern types with their AK-47s going bang, 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 bang. And unfortunately, even here in our own country, we have some ignorant people that go out and shoot their guns in the air. Now, what do they think is going to happen? They think the bullet's going up there and evaporate. What's the deal? They think it's just going to go away. Remember Newton's law. What goes up has to come down. Certainly within, unless it's an interplanetary satellite or rocket that actually leaves the Earth. But for what we're talking about, friends, if this bullet goes up in the air, you know, that's as bad as just closing your eyes and shooting in some direction. That's as bad as that. Because when that bullet comes down, listen, they come down at about 400 feet per second. Anybody ever been hit by a baseball? You ever been hit by a baseball out and remember that? Or somebody threw a rock at you? It hurt, didn't it?
Darn right it hurt.
and a bullet even coming down is going much faster than you can throw a rock, much faster than you can throw a baseball. And remember, they're shaped for efficiency anyway. A bullet will come down at about 400 feet per second. It has as much energy as a .25 automatic at point blank. A lot of people have been hurt and killed with .25 automatics. Never, ever, never, ever shoot your gun up in the air as noise makers. Never. You absolutely, we can't, friends, because a woman was killed in New Orleans a couple of years ago. Some stupid, and that's all you can say, some stupid person fired a gun in the air. A bullet came down, hit her on top of the head, and killed her. There's no excuse. In fact, we've got a piece of tape footage. Let me show you the hood on this automobile that belongs to, in fact, the judge, belongs to Leroy Scott. Somebody in his neighborhood or somewhere realized they can go, it may come down a mile away. So you have no way of knowing where. If you just shoot up in the air, bang, it could come down a half mile, a mile away, might come down, who knows where. You don't know. And a bullet came down out of the air and punched through the hood on Leroy Scott's car.
That's right.
And if you think that metal's not harder than your head, you know, you better rethink it. So let's, in fact, that is a terrible example of ridiculous gun handling. So friends, these are things that we cannot afford. We cannot afford stupid. You know, accidental discharges will happen. They will happen. But if we always observe proper gun handling rules, no one gets hurt. There's not an injury to a pet or a child or to another person as long as we observe proper gun handling. You know, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were telling me about an experience they had. If someone walked up to you and you were holding a gun like this, and if someone walked up to me and said, "Johnny, what kind of gun is that? What kind of gun is this?" The first thing I would want to say is, it's a loaded gun. They're all treated as if they're loaded unless we have checked them, they're down for cleaning. They're always treated. If the gun has a cylinder in it or is in working condition, we treat it as if it is loaded. First of all, it is a loaded gun. And then I would say, yeah, it's a Ruger Blackhawk 41 Magnum. But first of all, it's a loaded gun. Very important. Well, friends, we have a great show for you, and a little cold out here today. Some of these folks here in the South, yeah, being down in the 20s is a little different from us for this time of year, but occasionally it does happen. Friends, if you would like to see us continue on the air, if you can join our support group, if your company can buy advertising here on our program, please help us if you can. This is a job that has to be done. Heck, we have to stay on the air. As long as you're seeing this, we have a chance. We have a chance on TV for our message getting out as long as you're seeing us here on television. If you can help, please send whatever you can, whether it's $5, whether it's $50, $500, even $5,000 or $50,000. No one has sent $5,000. No one sent $50,000. But if you can help us stay on the air, just stay on, and hopefully we'll get enough eventually to expand our programming. Friends, it has to be done. If you can help us, send to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. If you want to call us about getting in our support group, you can, or call us about advertising. You can call us area 318-377-5189. Well, friends, we do have a great show for you today. We appreciate you joining us. You know, we've used the little nylon 66 over the past couple of weeks, actually in intros, a very fine semi-automatic 22 rifle. Heck, these will be short-range sniper rifles before, if the anti-gun people have their way, they'll call it that.
Yeah. Just
the basic 22, so many of us have grown up with. But today we're going to start off with a gun that's a little different. This is an experimental Dan Wesson revolving rifle. How about that? You know, Colt made some black powder revolving rifles back in the 1800s. Well, this, by our good friends up at Dan Wesson, is an experimental model. It's a revolving 22 caliber rifle. I guess you might call it a revolver, maybe?
Revolver.
or revival or something. Revolver, I suppose. But it's really a remarkable gun. It has a 23-inch barrel and really a neat concept. Well, let's open today's program shooting our shot stop targets with the Dan Wesson experimental revolving rifle. How about that? And let's let another shooting show begin.
The Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now friends, here it is. This is a Dan Wesson revolver converted into a rifle, actually, 22 caliber, and you can see it has a very nice custom stock. And this is an experiment for those of us who've always wondered, well, just how that would work. It is interesting. It opens just like any other Dan Wesson. And you have the standard 6-shot revolver. Of course, the way the Dan Wessons are made, it is more conducive to this kind of modification. But it is a most interesting concept. Now, on any revolving rifle, which, as we said earlier, Colt had made some back in the 1800s, black powder guns, but you would need to keep your hands and fingers away from the cylinder barrel gap on any sort of gun like this, because you're going to have some leakage there just because of the nature of the gun. On a typical shooting a revolver, both hands will be back behind, well to the rear of the cylinder and barrel there, but this is something that we really do want to pass on. This is important. Neat concept, though. Now, friends, I tell you what, I was talking with our good friend Bob Serva up there at Dan Wesson the other day, and we were just discussing the merits of a revolving rifle, and I tell you what, they are different. You know, what can what can we say? It is certainly a different proposition here. But you have a very nice contender type grip on this particular gun, and of course he put a real nice scope mount. We have a Tasco 4X scope. We'll show you the groups it shot in just a minute. Let me repeat, this is an experimental model, and it's amazing, I guess, it works so well. But you darn sure, remember this barrel cylinder gap, you want to keep your hand and arm well away, because you've got a space there that's under high pressure that you darn sure want to be aware of, because you can be injured. And I don't know if they would ever sell these to the public, I don't know. But it would have to come with some very stringent rules on handling, because if you put your hand up here, it would hurt your hand. Probably the best way to shoot one of these would be like so, with both hands on the stock, like the AR-7. Another thing that is not on this rifle is the Dan Wesson system of the tension barrel. This is just a regular rifle barrel screwed in to the frame. So just out of curiosity, tell you what we have to compare it to a standard 22 rifle. Let's take our nylon 66, and we have our chronograph set up out here, and let's see the velocity difference, if there is any, between a standard 22 rifle and the revolving rifle. We're using Remington, how about just regular old Golden high velocity cartridges today, and 22 long rifle. And let's see what our nylon 66 does through the chronograph. We'll shoot run about three shots through it and see what it does. Okay, 11:55 or 65?
11:55.
11:55, okay.
12:02.
12:02. And that is what, 12:05?
12:05.
Yeah, the sun is right in my shooting glasses. I'm having trouble seeing the figures. At least you folks can see them. Okay, friends, we can see we're getting an average of around 1,175 or so to 1,200 feet per second out of the regular 22. Well, let's put 3 22 long rifles, and I don't expect it will run as fast, because we do have a barrel cylinder gap, and also a 22 long rifle is very efficient. So this is an actually longer barrel than the nylon 66, and what will happen sometimes, the powder will burn out in the longer barrels and the bullets will actually start to slow down. I don't really know where the optimum barrel length for a 22 is. It's probably somewhere around 18 or so inches, and the Dan Wesson here has a 23-inch barrel. But let's see, let's find out what it does in the chronograph. Go ahead and put it there.
1,050.
1,050, first shot.
1,050.
Consistent.
1,056.
1,056. So friends, we can see the Dan Wesson is running about 125 or up to 150 feet per second slower than the closed breech semi-automatic here. But still, as we said, this may be a case of the longer barrel actually slowing it down. And of course, we do have the gas leakage there between the cylinder and the barrel. But it is certainly an interesting experiment. I tell you what, I don't know if they'll ever make that available for sale to the public, but the Dan Wessons are such nice and well-engineered guns. We're so excited about them coming back online and their new product lineup. Let's show you what the gun shot. For 5-shot groups from a bench rest at 25 yards, we got several groups around an inch, maybe a little bit less. We tried a number of different types of ammunition, but because we're dealing with a 6-shot cylinder, what we did is we marked one cylinder and shot it 5 times, single loading it in that one chamber. And let's show you what it did. As we mentioned, we tried several different types of ammunition, and the little gun shoots well, certainly a lot better than Minute or Squirrel, believe me. But when we did that, used the Lapua Dominator target ammunition, It went 5 shots into 29/100ths of an inch at 25 yards, and I think that is just terrific accuracy. Less than 1/3 of an inch for 5 shots in one single hole is good shooting. Well, friends, I tell you, this has been certainly a fun gun, and of course most of them are. This little Dan Wesson revolving rifle, or revolver, whatever you want to call it. The Dan Wesson people, and we're talking to them about every week now, they're working on bringing their full product line into production. They're starting off now shipping 44 Magnums, and they're going to ship some 445 Super Mags. They're going to have guns in 45 Colt, which I think is certainly an exciting proposition there. They're going to have guns in 41 Magnum, 414 Super Mag, and of course then later on they'll be having a full line of 357s, 32 Magnums, 32 20s, and certainly 22 long rifle and 22 Magnums. So it's really an exciting proposition. For any questions on the entire Dan Wesson lineup, you can give them a call there, and I'll see if we can't find their phone number. But this is something that we appreciate them sending us for our program, so we could show you folks quite a concept, one we haven't seen in well over 100 years. So it's certainly been a lot of fun, and hey, it shoots good too. Something we thought we'd show you. I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy seeing something different. I tell you what, friends, we got a lot of air traffic around today. I mean, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, you know, Heather, in the Old West, the Colt type revolvers, which was certainly the most famous or most widely recognized revolver in the Old West, they had 6 holes in the cylinder, but they really weren't thought of as 6 shooters. They were thought of as 5 shooters. And the reason is the hammer was always carried over an empty chamber for safety's sake. I mean, and that was true up until Ruger came along in 1973, I think, and came out with the new model, which uses a transfer bar ignition system. And I tell you what, even today, the cowboy action shooters and these old single actions, the Colt types like this Ruger, they feel so good in your hand. They're so easy to shoot well. They're a lot of fun. I think I had 5 loaded. I shot through the hole on the first in the disc.
Sure you did. Well,
it was through the hole.
Well, the Colt revolvers weren't the only ones used in the Old West, were they?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up. No, Colts weren't the only revolvers. And friends, here what we have today, thanks to our good friends over at Clark Custom Guns, we have a model of the Smith & Wesson Schofield revolver. Now this is from Navy Arms, and it's actually made by Uberti in Italy. And I tell you what, years ago, a good friend of ours was a gun writer, and I had a conversation. I said, you know, cowboy shooting's starting to get popular again. I said, why don't we talk to Smith & Wesson about making some of those old single actions? And the people at Smith & Wesson at the time that he had talked to said, nah, nobody'd ever want those. No, wouldn't ever sell. Well, they've been wrong on a few other things too, because the folks there, the Italians, have tooled up. And I tell you what, friends, these are really neat guns. Now, realize that they had to buy new machinery, and of course these are very precise fitting guns. Clark Custom Guns is making another special offer here on our shooting show. This is certainly the new Schofield model. It's in 45 Colt chambering because they felt like there's not much Schofield ammunition out there, which is true, although more of it is starting to appear. But they went ahead and made it in 45 Colt, which the original gun was not offered in. It was in the 45 Schofield. We'll talk about that in a minute. But these are really neat guns. See, they're a top break, and they have simultaneous ejection. They're single actions just like the Colt types were, but this was seen as a an advancement for the time. It was certainly a useful addition. Now realize that the top break firearms do not have the strength of the single action Army types, or certainly the modern Rugers, but with the cartridges of the time, which we're talking about lower pressured 45 Schofield black powder essentially, even the 45 Colt, you didn't have the pressures, you didn't have to have the strength that the center pin, straight through center pin single actions had. Now friends, honestly, these are in the country now. They've been in for a couple of years, and you know, the stuff we're seeing from the Italians, the Uberti folks really know how to make nice guns. They've been making American model cowboy type guns for many years, and they have really done their homework on this Schofield. We're seeing these guns retail for around $800. The good folks at Clark, for our viewing audience, are making, they've got several of these. They got a couple of 5.5-inch barrels, one as this one is, one with a 7.5-inch barrel, and they're making this available to our viewing audience for $625. And this is the only time this gun has been shot. Is here. We'll shoot it here on the program today. But they are very nice. That is almost $200 off retail from the good folks there at Clark Custom Guns. If you're interested, if you want something a little different other than a Colt type revolver for your cowboy action shooting, or you just want a fun gun, or you're a collector, these are extremely well made, the Ubertis. You can give our friends there at Clark Custom Guns a call, and their number is area 318-949-9884. You can order these. They are really, really neat guns. Let's take, in fact, a closer look and show you just some of the finer points about the Schofield type revolvers. Now, friends, you can see we have a very slick package here. The Uberti folks have really done their homework. In fact, I would surmise that these guns are every bit as finely made as the originals, probably better materials too because of advances in metallurgy. But you can see, of course, it thumb cocks, and you break open the gun. You have some serrations here on the rear sight, and of course your front sight here is very generous. In fact, it looks like a nickel actually. It's the way it looks, but very nice color case hardening on some of the parts here, just a superior finished package. But let's go ahead and break it open, and we have a couple of spent cartridge cases, and this was an advantage. Literally, you could just break the gun, it would unload itself rather than unloading singly like on the Colt types. It would have simultaneous ejection of all the cartridge cases. So you go so far over, and of course then it would, the ejector would pop back into place due to a spring loading there. And as you close the gun, it has to be, to open the gun, you've got to have it on half cock here, so you can close it. And I don't know why, but these guns have, the cylinder will spin either way. So the way they carried it, you would have it in the free position there, and you would pull the trigger, pull the hammer back a little bit, go ahead and pull the trigger, and it will lock up in place, and the hammer is not protruding through there. But that is still not, it's not a safety notch. It's just something to prevent. The half cock notch is just to prevent if the hammer slips out from under your finger, prevent it from inadvertently firing. It is not a safety. The only way these guns can be safely carried is over an empty hole, an empty chamber. They're 5 shooters, remember, and not 6. Well, we have some kind of rudimentary sights. They're pretty good, actually. Unlike the single action Colts, you can literally hold the trigger down and thumb back a single action Colt, but these won't do that. You hold the trigger down, nothing will happen. You have to release the trigger so it releases the cylinder to turn. So just a difference in shooting. But I'll tell you what, these guns were renowned for accuracy, and we've already got one group we shot a little earlier at 25 yards and of 1.94 inches, which is superior performance. Heck, that's one of the best groups we've gotten with any 45 Colt gun using factory ammunition, so they really do shoot well.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is, the great Georgia Arms ammunition. Notice these ballistic tip nodular bullets in this Georgia Arms ammunition. You see, this is equivalent to a box of 20 for only $7.95. Now, friends, that is a terrific price for essentially custom-loaded ammunition. Of course, for the plain full metal jacket, it is much less expensive. Here's another tremendous bag of Georgia Arms ammunition, 7mm Remington Magnum, 20 rounds, only $17.95, loaded with these premium Nosler ballistic tips. I tell you, this is custom ammunition at a discount price. Tell you what, friends, the good people at Georgia Arms do understand what's going on in this country. They understand how important our gun rights are, and they're supporting us on this project. The good news is you can get absolutely superior ammunition at discount prices, whether you have a handgun or a rifle. If you want to take that big hunt, you can afford to practice with your rifle as well as use that same ammunition on the hunt because they are so reasonably priced. These are some of the nicest people we have ever met in this business, bar none, and they're down in beautiful Villa Rica, Georgia. So please, friends, if you would, you can get a free catalog with a free phone call. That's as good as the deal gets. A free catalog, free phone call, 1-800-624-6861. Again, Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. And please tell them you saw it here on our shooting show.
And we want to remind you, friends, you can get our 41 Magnum Defense Special through Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. Superior performance, doesn't have the kick that a full-powered 41 Magnum does, but it's still an excellent defense load. So please give them a call today and order some 41 Magnum Defense Special ammunition from the good folks at Georgia Arms.
All right, friends, just for fun, let's just show you how it works. We'll go ahead. We have 5 loaded here. Again, that empty chamber under that hammer. No fooling around about that. Let's just see how it shoots. Offhand, we'll shoot a little higher on our target here. Very comfortable in the hand. Let's just see what it's going to do. Shooting a little bit low. Has about a 4-pound trigger, a little bit of creep, but it's pretty good. Well, now wait a minute. Of course, that's bring back to half cock. We'll check it with 5 rounds fired, and we'll notice. We'll go ahead and break the gun open. I'll show you. Look at this firing pin. Isn't that something? That's a little different, huh? Okay, but wait a minute, friends. Hold the phone. Let's go up and check our group. Well, literally, now we're not that far. Yes, we're back a few yards from the target. Wait a minute, friends. That's 5 shots in one hole. With the target grade 45 Colt ammunition. Yeah, they were supposed to be good shooters, and darn sure this one is. All right, friends, you can see why we're pretty excited out here shooting this gun. We already have one group. This is 25 yards. Now, wait a minute. That's good for any revolver, any service type handgun. My goodness, if we got this group with a 45 automatic, we'd be yelling, jumping up and down, you know, so, my gosh, under 2 inches. This design dates from 1871, so Smith & Wesson knew how to build handguns even back then. And yes, they were superior accuracy. Now, wait a minute, friends, honestly, 5 in one hole, even at a relatively close target. We're a few yards away from when we were shooting through our gun cam there. But that is superior performance. And hey, the Italians know how to build guns. Oh, I mean, they really do. They've been doing this since the 1300s. And I really applaud their foresight and the good people at Navy Arms, the people who started the project on this Schofield model, Smith & Wesson design anyway. I really think that's pretty doggone good. The grips have 1877, so maybe that's when this model became available. This gun was issued to units in the United States Army. We'll take a look why in a moment, but for sight regulation, one, you can pick whatever load you want, and these will take any standard low pressure 45 Colt load. I mean, my gosh, it was designed back in the 1800s. You wouldn't want to, we don't want the Elmer Keith commemorative 45 Colts here. We're talking about the mild type loads that certainly would be safe to shoot. Realize we're dealing with modern steel, but still the design dates from the 1870s, so there's just no point in destroying a perfectly good piece of equipment or hurting yourself. But anything, the factory Colt type ammunition will be just fine in it. And of course, you see we have simultaneous ejection of all the cartridge cases here, which was one of the real advantages this gun had. But most interesting, we'll show you something in a moment on just why it had such wide acceptance by the military types at the time. Now then, friends, to just demonstrate why the Army was interested in this, realize that handguns back in the 1800s, revolvers were the terrific cavalry type guns, because one, you could hold the reins of the horse in one hand and shoot with the other, and they didn't bother too much in the non-cartridge or the percussion era. They carried several guns, including sometimes 4 or 5 revolvers on a horse. So, but when the cartridge revolvers came along, the cartridge guns, well, they saw this as a large advancement, so then they wanted to start trying to reload. Well, we have our Schofield here, and we have our Black Hawk. We've loaded with 5 rounds with equivalent loads, target type loads, and we have our Pro timer here that I think is important, and we're going to demonstrate just what the advantage was. I think you'll see here in a moment, shooting these guns compared to each other. We've got our timer, and I think it'll pick up okay. Let's see. We're going to need some 41 ammunition. Okay, great. This is the Colt ammunition here. They're both loaded. Get them here in near proximity so we can load the proper ones. And actually having ammunition here on the table would be simpler than getting it out of your pocket probably. Or let's see how long it takes. We're going to shoot 5 rounds from each gun and reload and shoot 1 round. So we're going to time how long it takes to get the gun back in action. We'll go ahead and shoot, just thumb cocking, shooting some rounds here. Unload, reload, shoot 1 round. Okay, let's do that now. Now then, friends, we'll go ahead and start our timer, and let's see what it looks like. It will start me remotely. As soon as I hear it, I'll start shooting. Okay, I've got to unload now. We'll just let them fall on the ground like we would on horseback. Okay, we'll load 5 more, just like in a confrontation type situation. Got 1 left here. Got them loaded. Here we go. And you can't see this, but I killed a branch on the tree over there. Okay, a total shooting 5 rounds, unloading, reloading 5, shooting 1, was 26.89 seconds. In fact, let's write that down on something. 26.89 seconds. Can we remember that? 26.89. Now then, for the Colt type gun. Okay, let's try the same drill. Yeah, 26.89. Let's don't forget that. All right, let's try the same drill here with our Schofield, and realize that I'm not that familiar with this gun. It takes a little bit of practice because it's a little different mechanism from the Colt, but let's go ahead and start our timer. Here we go. Okay, 20.09 seconds. So realize that's a savings on time. 20.09. What was it? 26.89 the first one. So it was over 6 seconds faster. And some of the military folks at the time thought that could be an important advantage. And I understand that I read somewhere years ago that some of the soldiers had some kind of 6-round speed loader or 5-round speed loader. I can't verify that, but I understand that might have been the case. So if anybody knows about that, please give me a call. We'll confirm it. But I tell you what, these are such neat guns, and as we said earlier, Clark Custom Guns is making these available. $625, almost $200 off retail. They're brand new guns. This one we'll sign put a little card in with this particular one if you'd like to have the one featured here on the program. But they really are, it's really pieces of history here that a lot of you are really going to enjoy. And you cowboy shooters out there, I think you really enjoy having one of these too. Besides that, you've got enough front sight. I want to be sure to mention that you can file down your front sight to regulate it with the load you have. It looks to be very well centered already, but that's something I didn't want to forget to mention. But the Schofield from the good folks at Navy Arms and our good friends at Clark Custom Guns. By the way, Jim Clark is doing great. We're so pleased about his comeback from that. They told him he had a heart attack, but he's doing great. So certainly, the Schofield.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now friends, here it is. This is the great 1919 Browning converted to semi-automatic from the good people at NWI. This is your chance to own a real piece of history. They're very collectible. They're also a lot of fun to own and shoot, and very reasonably priced, certainly for what you get. The 1919 Browning is from NWI. That phone number, area 503-429-5001. They also have the ammunition special still going on. 30-06 ammunition, only 18 cents a round, surplus in the belt. So give them a call today. NWI for the great 1919 Browning conversion. Also remember they have the A6 conversion with the shoulder stock and the bipod, but these are tremendous pieces of history, also great shooters. So give them a call today, the 1919 Browning from NWI, area 503-429-5001. And I just want to remind you also there's a version of this gun available in the 50 Browning caliber, a gigantic cartridge, and we hope to have one of these guns on hand for our Fun Gun Weekend that some of you can see and even let some of you shoot it. Friends, these guns will not be available forever. If you would be interested in the 50 Browning or the 30-06 version you're seeing here in the screen today, please give NWI a call, area 503-429-5001, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying our program today. I tell you, we're certainly, the revolving rifle was certainly interesting. Certainly, we appreciate Dan West and Bob Serva sending that down to us. You'll recognize my good friend here, Leroy Scott. Sir, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Johnny. I don't have any complaints. I can make stick.
Well, well, that's good. Well, I tell you what, there are some sticking points that we definitely want to talk about. One of which is this, we got a paper in from the Firearms Coalition of Colorado, and their headline here is, Denver will steal your gun and your car and maybe your house. Judge, you think this can possibly hold up what they're doing in Denver?
Not if it were properly presented, no.
Well, friends, we have an example here of someone being stopped and their car being taken because they had a gun in their car, and of course this could also get your home. But Judge, tell me, I mean, isn't Denver still in the United States of America?
Sometimes I'm wondering.
Well, friends, we're going to be seeing more and more things like this. We do not need to compromise our firearms ownership. We don't need to compromise our gun rights. Judge, right now, there is a terrible fight going on within the NRA. You have any synopsis on that?
Well, the neo-Knox group wants to be more vigorous in their defense of the Second Amendment, and apparently the others don't want to do it, and apparently there's some questions about finances in the NRA that I really don't know anything about. Just incidentally, if any of you are wondering about this, reserve one of your votes and vote for me for the NRA Board of Directors.
You know, that's true. On the right end, we got Leroy Scott here. It's been a year or so ago, a couple of years ago now. We got him nominated for the board, but I don't think, Judge, I don't believe they want you on the board.
Well, they probably don't want me on the board, but I'd be an addition to the board for sure. The trouble is that, and I withdrew last time because I was running against Charlton Heston, and I kind of thought that was that wasn't a very fair, wasn't a fair bet. But that won't be the case this time, and I don't know how many people get nominated by write-ins.
Well, we got you nominated before. I mean, it's happened before.
Well, let's put it like this. If I get nominated again, I will probably accept it.
Well, friends, right now, you and I talked earlier, and I said it earlier on the program today, Chucky Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, Sarah Brady, they're all laughing themselves silly. And let me tell you what, this ceasefire thing is no joke, friends. Subsidized by our tax dollars, there are going to be 375 million anti-gun messages on the airwaves. Judge, isn't that ridiculous that they can get away with that?
Well, I think it's malfeasance in office to do that with tax funds, with money.
Well, subsidized. Well, let me tell you what, friends. We're here today in part because of your contributions here. The Shooting Show has been on the air the last couple of years, actually, certainly the last year and a half, due to your contributions, you helping us stay on the air. We have to do this, friends, because right now we're losing. We were talking a day or so ago. Some people, they want to lay out a 5-year plan for manufacturing or marketing. Judge, if it goes the way it is now, we may not have a lot of stuff left in 5 years, huh?
What are you talking about, a 5-year plan?
Well, we hear businesses, some of the marketing companies talk about a 5-year plan for selling this kind of gun or developing. And I'm looking at what's happened in Australia. I'm looking at what's happened in England about gun confiscation. I'm looking at what's happening today in Colorado, in Denver. We may not have any guns left in 5 years if we don't make some inroads now, huh?
The only 5-year plans I know about have come from communist countries on what their 5-year plans are.
Interesting thought. Friends, we've said the whole time the reason that these people in Washington, the New World Order people, want to disarm us is they know as long as we have personally owned firearms that we can never be a police state. They know this. We know this. Are we going to let them get away with it? One of the things you can do from the comfort of your own home is, maybe you don't feel like you can do a lot, but let me tell you what, if you can just do what you can, and you can sit down and write a check to help keep us on the air, the Shooting Show, please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowlands Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. And go ahead. What? Yes.
Johnny, did you ever find out what the purpose of that prison that we uncovered down in Mississippi?
Not yet. We had a radio station from Mississippi call us, and they were located not very far from the DeSoto National Forest, and they told me a few days ago that they were going to send somebody down there and look at it so we can get more eyewitness accounts. I don't know what it's about.
Ask them to send us a tape.
Please send us the tape and any other information out there. If you folks know about this or these prison camps like this, hey, send it to us. You know, let's find out what's going on here. And something else I want to add, if anyone out there has had problems with gun malfunctions on a particular brand or model of gun, if you've had a problem with it, please let us know, because we can research that. We can investigate a little bit. But the problem is, friends, the Clintonians, the New World Order people, the worldwide gun grabbers, very few people but very powerful. If we don't stop them, they're going to get their way.
Well, they're only powerful because Clinton's in office. How did George Bush stack up on this anti-gun thing?
Talking about George Bush Jr., the governor of Texas?
George W. Bush.
George Sr., right? The
George
former
Sr.
president.
No.
I don't know. The governor of Texas. Now, he did sign the concealed carry law in Texas. He was the one who signed that. I don't know.
Well, we're going to have to get behind somebody soon. And I don't know if it's going to be George W. Bush or whether it's going to be Dan Quayle. There's some people I wouldn't support, but both of those are people I think I could.
Well, remains to be seen, friends.
And don't forget Pat Buchanan.
Well, Pat Buchanan's still out there. I don't know if he can possibly, I said last time it was the Republican Party that killed his campaign because he would have cleaned house. And they didn't want the status quo changed, I think. But, friends, we are in this fight, and it is serious. These are the most serious times that we face for our personal liberty since the Civil War and certainly since the American Revolution. So, please, if you can, please help us. We will continue getting proper information out, the truth out, about guns and shooting and our firearms rights. Somebody has got to tell the truth. Judge, somebody told me the other day, so, well, Johnny, you can't just get on TV and say these things that are so serious about what the public's doing. I said, well, if Clinton had gotten the Taggart legislation through last year, we would have all been out of business as shooters overnight if they'd done that. And he said, oh, I didn't know that. Friends, it is serious. Somebody's got to tell the truth.
Well, there are a lot of people that just don't know that.
They just don't know it, and that's why we're here. Friends, please, if you can, please help us. We're certainly trying. Don't give up on us. We certainly won't give up on you. Now, friends, this is an exciting new development we're going to give you a preview of today. Those of you who are familiar with the .45 Colt cartridge case, which I'm holding on the right, you know that the rim size is a little bit small or narrow to work properly in some double-action revolvers chambered for the .45 Colt. Also, people who are using the .45 Colt, some of the cowboy action shooters and some of the rifles, are having extraction problems. Well, we and Georgia Arms have come to the rescue here. We're going to put a .45 Schofield, which is on the left. You can see the case head there. The rim is a little bit larger than the .45 Colt on the right. We're going to make a new cartridge case. It's going to be called the .45 Colt DA. It will work just fine in the single action guns, but it'll work a lot better in the loading dies and also a lot better in the double action revolvers. This is one of the most exciting new cartridge developments on the .45 Colt case concept in over 100 years. It's really going to help a lot of people. If you'd like information on this, it'll be available in the near future from Georgia Arms in brass or in loaded ammunition. We'll have more about this on future programs, but we thought we'd show it to you today. The new .45 Colt double action cartridge case. It's really going to be something that'll help a lot of us. We think you're really going to be excited about it when you see more of it. And now let's recognize our support group sponsors. I want to recognize our friends at Urban Wood Products. They have and manufacture quality hardwood doors. They're there in Bellsville, Ohio. Their phone number is area 740-926-1575. Again, 740-926-1575. And if you're around Bourbon, Indiana, you can go to the Back 40 Sporting Clays range. Larry and Karen Meister have that. You can call them for appointments there. Their number is area 219-342-4665. Again, area 219-342-4665. Also, if you're in South Carolina and you need firearms training, you can call our friend Dennis Crocker down there. He's authorized to go throughout South Carolina. His number is area 864-587-8722. Again, area 864-587-8722. We have a new member in our support group this week. It's Holland Guard Service with Wayne Bearden there. He's the operations manager, and he's in Meridian, Mississippi. And if you have any kind of security needs, they can help you out in that area. And his number is area 601-644-3950. Again, area 601-644-3950 for the Holland Guard Service. Certainly want to remember our good friends Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie with custom leatherwork and saddlery down in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Whatever kind of leatherwork you need, from shoe repair to holster repair to tack and saddle, whatever you need, they can do it. Area 504-667-9225. Again, area 504 667-9225. And the folks with Flying Horse Enterprises they've had such a response off our program that they have moved to a different website. And you can find them on the internet at www.flyinghorse.net. Again, www.flyinghorse.net. They have some wonderful artworks there, and we really appreciate their assistance. And also our friend Bruce Warren with BC Armory. He does all kinds of custom work on semi-automatics and revolvers. You can give him a call at area 616-729-5508. He's in East Leroy, Michigan. So some of our viewers up there in Bruce's area, again, area 616-729-5508. And Bruce will be at and have his guns on display at several events upcoming. On May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, he'll be in New Tripoli, Pennsylvania at the East Coast Pin Challenge. It's going to be at the Second Chance Shoot in Central Lake, Michigan on June 12th and 13th and 14th, well, and 15th too. Also a couple of other events we'll be telling you about, so if you'd like to meet Bruce, you can at those. Friends, honestly, whatever you can do to help us stay on the air, that's how we're here today. This is important. This message does have to keep going out. We have to. If anybody you know that can help sponsor our program, or if you can contribute to help keep us on the air, please do. Very few people watching will make any contribution at all, but let me tell you, those contributions are so important to us. Please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Our phone number, if you want to call us and talk to us, 318-377-5189. Also want to remind you, we have fluid film that we can ship out. This is the greatest lubricant we have ever seen. It's in a class by itself. If you want to protect your guns or your leather goods or just about anything you'd use a spray lubricant on, you can send $19.95 for 2 large cans to us here at the Shooting Show. Again, 327 Irvin Rowland Road, Dubberly, Louisiana, and we'll get those right out to you. Friends, hang in there with us. We've got a long way to go. This has to be done. We've got to keep the Shooting Show on the air, and we certainly want to thank everyone who has contributed, and please, please do what you can.